morning,
Good
everybody.
morning.
Good morning.
Howdy ho. I don't know why that's what I picked.
Yeah, that was your go-to for some reason.
In my head, I told myself I'm
going
to.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
I love the shirt.
In my head, I
why you
told
didn't have a
myself
scam on.
I was going to do the Dr. Nick. Hi, everybody. But what came out was the South Park. And I don't know why.
That's an odd wire crossing right there.
It is a very odd because South Park never entered my brain, but that's what came out of my mouth.
Clearly it did.
Yeah, clearly. At some point, somewhere.
So let's talk about the shirt.
Yeah.
I like it.
Sam gave me a heads up today, so Cavill told me a shirt, so that's what I have to do.
It's true.
I don't have a shirt either.
Instead of cosplaying for conventions, I'm just cosplaying here.
What does it say
underneath
behind it?
It's a tech shirt, and it says "I am Root."
Nice.
I got my Red Sox hat.
There you go. Yeah, he is full on Nick cosplay. This is amazing. I'm Cav. That's Earth 2 Nick. And there's Hannah in church.
Hey guys,
we have
Nick doesn't have an epic beard like that. You got to go shave your beard real quick.
Okay.
Oh boy! All right, we got some stuff to talk about. We've got. What else? What?
Josh with the hard eyes.
That's true. Josh with the 10th. That so much so he covers up the bottom two.
Facebook is out of them now.
That's true. That's
also,
very true.
I would like to reply to Sam. I'm not going to pseudo make you anything.
It's true. Nerd jokes. There's a level of nerd joke, and then there's a nerd joke like that. That's a tier 2, tier 3 level support.
We've been shouting that joke at each other for years.
Nice. And Mitch with what was left of the Facebook heart eyes. That's all that was left. Just 5 of them.
Oh, I found some over here.
Yeah, found some. Yeah, those are the ones that are over in the corner. These are the ones that didn't quite meet the standard, but we're going to use them anyways. We've got a lot to talk about because ComicCon at home is going on right now. We also have the Xbox, the Xbox showcase, the game showcase, which was awesome. No news on pricing or release date yet. Hello, Mama. How are you? So there's that. But first, I feel like because it has been so long, I feel like we need some Keanus.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
It's time for Keanus. So
I feel like we needed that.
We really did.
We do.
Someone to tell us they're breathtaking still.
That's true. Let's watch that one more time.
Thank you. Made my day.
That's the crazy thing is no game conference may ever live up to that ever again.
Yeah.
People were talking about, what's going to happen on the Xbox showcase. Now, granted, it's a little bit different because nobody's in the same place and nobody, stuff like that. Nobody Skyped in and whatever, and when they were talking about stuff. But I don't know that anybody will ever live up to Keanu showing up to talk about Cyberpunk.
We can't expect that. I mean, it's like talking about, is he the next Michael Jordan? There's never going to be another.
No.
There's never going to... The bar has been set. It's, how close did you come to Keanu? It's not, is it better?
Well, to Cav's point, you kind of missed that random, spontaneous live interaction.
Mm-hmm.
That was so beautiful. It was just so in the moment when you have these people you adore and interacting with these fans.
Yeah. Honestly, it's one of the reasons why people go to conventions so much is you never know what the interactions are going to be like. Some of the panels and things like that, you get all kinds of stuff. Yes, the bar is Theodore Logan.
Don't forget, what is it, Bill Preston?
Yeah. Because like when you start going to panels and things like that, you really never know what's going to show up. I mean, anytime you go to it, Rooker, you really never know what's going to happen. John Barrowman is the very same way.
Yeah.
Like
Mackie is pretty spontaneous too. Anthony Mackie. He threw plums at us in a nice, sharing way. Someone had given Sebastian Stan was there too. Yes. And someone had given him plums because of Bucky, and then Anthony Mackie took them and started throwing them to hand them out to people.
That's awesome.
We had maybe it was the first or second year there was a Wizard World in Tulsa. Norman Reedus, somebody gave him a marshmallow shooter crossbow.
Oh, that's cool.
And so as people were waiting for him in line to get his autograph and stuff like that, he was shooting people with marshmallows, like just random people in line. But yeah, I mean, it's you never really know. Like, some of the stuff that sticks out is at San Diego, which obviously is not happening this year. Traditionally, Stephen Amell, there was a young girl who was battling some sort of illness. I can't remember what it was. And kind of his deal was every year that she shows up, he brings another prop for her, but she has to bring the prop from the year before back. And so I believe the last one we saw, she had his jacket, like his hood, his cowl for whatever.
Wow.
And he brought her his bow, his recurve, his one of the original bows from like season 1. He brought her one of his bows. And basically and she had I think it was a necklace to start with, and then it was the jacket, and then it was a bow and something like that. And so those are the interactions that we kind of miss this year because you don't get to see those things when people aren't there in person. But there's been some pretty cool stuff coming out. One of the things Keanu related that came out is that Keanu Reeves is entering the world of comic books, even though there was a John Wick comic book. He has collaborated with Matt Kint, I think is how you spell his last name, or say his last name, to write a new comic book called Berserker. Half immortal god, an immortal half god.
He's writing an autobiography.
Yeah, it's about his
life. Pretty much.
Yeah.
And so says this guy known only as Berserker is a half mortal, half god. Throughout the ages, he's been compelled toward violence. Now in the modern world, he finds his place working for the U.S. government to fight battles too dangerous for anyone else. For his service, Berserker will be granted the truth about his existence, including how to end it. Oh. Sounds a lot like the old guard.
Yes.
So,
which I'm cool with.
I'm totally cool with it. Like at some point, let's get this crossover happening. Like it makes sense. And so they will be released. It will be released in shops this October. And so might put that one on your pull list. So he's talked about he might do. He would like to play this in a movie or something like that. It would not surprise me.
If the Berserker goes less than 55 miles per hour, he gets kicked out of the Matrix.
It's true.
That's what I heard.
Yep.
I read that.
Very sage words.
I don't know. I think we talked about this. This isn't even on the agenda, but for charity, Keanu was auctioning off like a 15-minute Zoom call for charity.
Mm-hmm.
And the top bid on it was over $16,000.
Wow.
So you're paying more than $1 a minute to hang out with Keanu.
Yes, you are paying more than $1 a minute.
I'm sorry, $1,000 a minute. Yeah, more than $1.
No, that's accurate.
More than $1,000 a minute. Yes, he's gonna do that. So the next time we'll see Keanu on the screen is going to be Bill and Ted Face the Music. They dropped a new trailer along with a new release date, which at this point, I don't even know why they're putting release dates on anything.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It just gets us excited and then disappointment again.
Just instead of putting a date, just say at some point, ...
Yes.
So we noticed when we watched the trailer, we had to go and look at the cast for any people we might have missed, like in the smaller roles. And we noticed that Bill's daughter is named Thea after Theodore. And Ted's daughter is named, I think she's just named Billy after Bill. So they named their daughters after each other.
That's really cute.
Nice. September 2nd, we're going to get that whole story. Maybe. If we're lucky. I don't know. There's no telling.
All I know is the trailer had death in it, and that made me insanely happy. He was one of my favorites.
They are definitely, I mean, this is the epitome of a nostalgia movie. Like, this is the fan base, and certainly it doesn't hurt that Keanu is never more popular than he has been right now.
Mm-hmm.
So people are going to go just to go. But I also feel like it's going to be a very strange thing where, like, last time I saw Keanu, he was in John Wick or whatever, and then you see him in this role. Like, it's going to be such a departure that people are going to be like, what was he thinking slightly? Like,
even the
Attack of the Flurkin.
Right. I was like, where did she come from? Even the trailer, I was like, I'm a little confused by this.
Yeah, yeah. But either way, it's going to be amazing. I plan on going. We will see when that actually happens. But another movie that got pushed off the release schedule is Tenet is off the schedule now.
I think they finally gave up.
I think they did. There was a discussion, an interview with one of the WB executives talking about stuff getting released straight to streaming instead. And he basically said Tenet is not going to be that way, which doesn't surprise me. Christopher Nolan's too much of a purist to let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
But he did not 100% rule out Wonder Woman 1984 though. Like, he was very clear about Tenet not happening.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, he was like, well, at some point we have to decide because at this point they've invested the money and they should have had their money back by now, and they don't. So, because I think even if you release Wonder Woman 1984 on streaming, people are going to buy it. And I think when you release it back in the theaters, I think people are still going to go.
Yeah.
You're still going to make a nice little bump there.
Even if you did here is the quote streaming version of Wonder Woman 1984, and then what gets released in the theaters is like a 15-minute longer director's cut.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Yeah, so an incentive to go, but that doesn't wreck the story, stuff like that. So I don't know. It's interesting. Like, at some point, like, these studios have hundreds of millions of dollars out in studio right now, or out in production, and nothing is, and nobody's making any money right now.
No one is making
a lot of the money. The target audiences too. So if you have something like Bill and Ted, it's like a big family film, and people are like staying home watching together. A lot of those movies like that, people aren't going to go with their families anyway. If you're thinking like price per ticket.
Yeah, like they did with Trolls.
Exactly. So depending on what the market is and what they were expecting, I think we'll see a lot of stuff start to shift to streaming.
I would almost say Bill and Ted's might even be more successful.
I agree.
Streaming.
Yeah.
Than it would be in a theater release.
Like how Olgar was, because everyone's staying at home. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It does feel like one of those odd sequels that Netflix produces and drops.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check it out 30 years later. Reunite everyone.
This is something that like Keanu just wanted to do. He just decided one day, like, and he's Keanu, so it happened.
Yeah. He like us, he speaks things into existence.
He's an immortal half deity, so
yeah,
it's true.
Oh, he doesn't speak them into existence. He makes them happen. He has the will, and he has the power, and he has the woe.
The woe.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
There's the woe, there's a way.
And if you want the wow, you need Owen Wilson. So
wow.
They also pushed the third Conjuring movie back to June 4th, 2021. So yeah, there's,
I don't think that studios or movie people expected this to stay. Well, because I was like, I don't know if it's just the studios. I don't know who makes all the calls for when things get released. But
also Keanu.
I don't think they expected this to last as long as it has. So they kept thinking, oh, it's okay if we push it back because in like a couple months this will be over with. And I think now they're realizing, okay, well, this might not be. So now they're like, maybe we are going to have to release things.
And I've heard Disney's really hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, and that's like, I've even seen basically people talking about bailouts for studios. Like,
no.
I'm just like, it doesn't. That's the thing. Like, Disney's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like, there is not a bank in the world that would not loan Disney $1 billion.
You realize the metaphor of Scrooge's vault is so apt for Disney?
It's true.
Disney could bail us out, not the other way around.
The thing about Disney is so many of their businesses are like silos. So like you've got the theme parks, which are in, really hurting because there's no vacation. They did open the theme parks, which I don't understand, but whatever.
Not all of them though.
Yeah,
I mean, none of them should have been, but.
And so like they open them for like, season pass holders or whatever to control crowds, which I kind of get, but so like, Disney television and Disney theme parks and Disney movies and things like that, like some are going to suffer well more than the others. And it's a little complicated, I believe, for one particular, like for Disney movies to bail out the theme parks or whatever. It's not as simple as writing a check.
Right.
So, because they want their tax havens, and then all of a sudden when they need to move money around.
I'm just saying, Disney taking a hit is not the same as like us normal folks taking it.
No.
Right.
Disney can recover.
Yeah.
They just might, like whoever owns them right now, just might not be able to get like their 5th yacht or something.
Yeah. 5th yacht
or
jet.
Spend their money on, but
I was hoping it pressures them enough to consider alternatives like streaming and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like for them, though, it's a win-win because if they move something into Disney Plus, the streaming service, they're just making money. It's like I'm not going to do this, but I'll release it on Disney Plus as a one-time purchase or something like that. So that's what they're going to do.
Then once things can be released in theater, take it out of Disney Plus for a little bit. So then,
true.
I like the re-release idea because we've seen.
I'd take it out about a month before.
Yeah.
Logan and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Logan re-release with the black and white and things like that. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I mean, there are ways to do it, and if the people who are going to double dip will, and there are people who won't because they watch it on streaming, and if they watch it on streaming, that's money they don't have to pay the movie theater.
Right.
Like, not that they.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, now the studios get a very significant cut of that, but 20% of $200 million or 500, whatever Wonder Woman's going to make, $800 million or whatever, is still 20% of $800 million. So yes, it hurts the theaters, but like
there's also going to be a lot of people who are happy about that as well, because while they don't mind paying the same price for the movie to see it at home, and some people will, but some people will go, and that's fine. That's fine. I get to see this movie. Additionally, I don't have to pay the same price for food and a drink right now. I've already got that here. I'm saving money by doing this.
Disney's gonna show up at your door. Would you like some $7 popcorn?
No, I would not. Disney, please leave.
They can get one of those like subscription boxes of just movie food.
Oh,
Disney movie subscription box
for people going through withdrawals right now.
Yeah,
sure.
Like
it's just
popcorn.
And in the box is about this big. And it's $300.
Yeah.
Less brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, you could. I mean, you really could. I hear the thing, like in a world where Grubhub and DoorDash live in a world. See, I really want to use my voice changer right now, but I'm afraid it's going to break something. Just
do your best impression.
I don't have one of those. in a world where Grubhub and DoorDash stuff like that exist, like movie popcorn and stuff like that, like you can't have people in movie theaters, but there's nothing keeping them from popping popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could go. I know some theaters. I think Cinemark was doing this, where you could go to the theater, basically do a drive up and get like popcorn, like movie popcorn and stuff like that. Because at this point, what else are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, because they're it was being reported now, AMC is saying they are not going to open its doors until mid to late August. Cinemark is saying Cinemark and Regal have both delayed their openings. They were supposed to open in 6 days. They will announce a new reopening date coming soon. And so, because Disney also pulled Mulan off of its release schedule, and it was supposed to release less than a month from now.
Yeah.
Wow. So basically, theaters are just on the New Mutants schedule now.
Yeah.
It's true.
Which I think we had not in our agenda, but I thought I heard news about New Mutants.
Oh, is there?
I did see their images or something.
At this point, I'm expecting theaters to reopen for 1 week only, and the only movie they can show is New Mutants, and then they close again.
We like an option day?
I think it was a new trailer, but I didn't watch it. So.
Oh, the first scene was released.
Okay.
So because they did a New Mutants ComicCon at Home panel.
Yeah.
They did do that. The funniest thing that I've seen out of these panels is all the copyright bots that float out on the internet. Basically, to knock off streams for using copyrighted material. Nobody told them that these were official streams. So, like the Star Trek like stream and stuff like that got knocked off because for a copyright violation.
Yeah, Star Wars, and I think someone else. There was a couple of them that got knocked off.
So, I was like, well, that is one of those things. You know, you're not really planning. That's what's going to happen. So. Yeah, I mean that's the crazy thing. I'm surprised it hasn't happened more, to be honest with you. But there's been a lot of just different panels, random panels, stuff related to ComicCon at Home, stuff not related to ComicCon at Home at all.
Did you see? Joss Whedon was supposed to have a panel for ComicCon, and it's just mysteriously disappeared.
Does not surprise me.
The ComicCon or Joss?
Has anyone seen Joss recently?
Or the panel?
The
Joss
panel.
disappeared?
Joss's panel disappeared.
Vampires.
Like, you know how most Comic-Cons, I guess all of them, well, they'll have the list for, like, your guests and everything. And then if something happens, if something is canceled or whatever, they'll tell you, like, they'll have a little blurb or whatever. But Josh's didn't have that. Josh's was just gone.
Just disappeared. Just out.
I thought you were going to say all the guests showed up, and he just never did.
Oh, no. I mean, that wouldn't be surprising either, but no.
No, with some of the allegations floating around, it does not surprise me that he So, however, this Josh is still here.
The good Josh is still here.
Yes, we appreciate that. Did you send him the Pokeballs thing so he didn't have to wander around Claremore?
I never got his friend code.
Josh, you need to send Hannah your friend code so she can send you a gift.
Me too. I'll take it.
And then she will grind all your Pokemon into candy. So
yeah,
it's true.
They kill
it's a very dark game, I've decided.
They all are.
So let's talk about some Star Wars. We've talked about Earth 2 Nick. This is for you.
Star Wars.
Yes. We've talked about Star Wars: The High Republic, which is I believe it's the new, the next movie series, not till 2023-ish or whatever. They're saying there's a story that's coming out that says one of the most buzzworthy, and this is from comicbook.com, one of the most buzzworthy stories that the franchise is ramping up to tell will dive into the High Republic era, which is 200 years before the events of the prequel trilogy. So before all of that, which is cool.
Is this when Anakin was made?
Yes, I mean,
sprinkling whatever midichlorian dust.
Sprinkling the midichlorians.
Yeah.
So it says among the people who are simply highlighted will be the Santeca family, which is the ancestors of the sequel trilogy character Lor Santeca, we saw. Is he at the beginning of Force Awakens?
Yes. Yeah, he was the Max von Sydow character that Poe goes to meet with. And it's about time, too. I've waited for them to kind of give something for his character.
The little dude?
Such importance on
no, the old princess to me.
He was the droid that is with Poe, the orange and white ball-shaped droid.
No, but I would take a prequel of BB-8.
Well, that's his nickname.
He used to be a very young Palpatine growing up on a desert planet and just tell his whole life story.
And now he's been misunderstood this whole time.
That would be very interesting. And you show him at the end where he's like, they'll understand like that all of these Palpatine clothes were worth it. They're going to figure this out. They'll see. And then it just has him being killed.
Yeah.
Somebody we're not going to see in another Star Wars movie unless they back up a Brinks truck, I would assume. John Boyega, he had posted on his Instagram that he was back on set, and somebody posted, "Force Finn in action with a green lightsaber dressed in black is all I want in the next Star Wars film." His response to that, "No, LOL, no thank you, I've moved on."
Oh.
And so he said, then somebody responded to that saying, "Really just got those Disney bucks and dit," laughing, laugh crying emoji. And Boyega responded to that, said, "Nope, not into playing one role for too long. I have more to offer than that. That's all." So,
forget the Disney bucks. He got signed action figures from all the original cast and all the new cast and everything. He's a huge fan.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for him.
Yeah. And that would be the thing. Like, there's stories that you hear, like, on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast and stuff like that. Like, when he goes and when he's on sets and is doing movies and stuff like that, he had Sylvester Stallone autograph a Rambo lunchbox.
Yeah.
And because sometimes if you look at like when he does his video stuff like that, you'll see some of the stuff in the background, like an autographed Jerk poster and stuff like that. And he'll tell these stories. And apparently Stallone was making fun of him. He was like, "You had a Rambo lunchbox?" Like,
yes, I do.
So, yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I do. Like,
don't you?
Yeah, and so. But yeah, a lot of those. I mean, a lot of these people who are in these movies, like, are fans of these people, and so, like, I would totally be that guy. Been like, you were in this movie 20 years ago. Like when I met Michael Rooker for the first time at a con, the first DVD I ever bought, like when DVDs first released, was The Replacement Killers. So it's him, it's Mira Sorvino. And I'm blanking on the guy's name, and he's awesome. Help me, somebody Google this. Thank you, because I had seen that movie in theaters. It was awesome, and so like my first 3 DVDs was like that, the original Mortal Kombat from '95, and something else I don't remember. Blade, I think it was Blade. Like, let me tell you how far back this goes. This is when DVDs came in like paper cases with the plastic clip that you had to open and get that. They were like $25, $30 a piece or whatever. So when I meet him for the first time, I'm having him sign a Walking Dead thing. It's like the very first DVD I ever bought was Replacement Killers. And Rooker, in true Rooker fashion, just starts going about, it's me and Mira Sorvino, whatever. That was a great movie. It's an early one. It's this and that. Like, dude's gonna mind like a steel trap, and was talking about all this stuff. And so, like, that would totally be me on a movie set. Be like, 20 years ago, I bought this DVD. I need you to sign it.
I feel like I would be like the Gwyneth Paltrow type. Someone comes up to me and is like, "Oh, I loved you in this movie," and I was like, "I was in that movie."
How do you forget that you're in a right? I don't know. I don't understand.
What did she forget that she was in?
She forgot
Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
With the
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Far from home. Homecoming.
Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow forgot. She hands the check.
Oh.
She was in that cooking show with Favreau. And they were in that scene.
If they're cameo roles in most of them, which Pepper doesn't have, with the exception of the Iron Mans, Pepper doesn't have large roles in the others.
Yeah.
I could see her forgetting that she was in one.
I blend in, I get it.
Or just being confused about which one she was in.
Oh yeah, I'm not making fun of her. I'm saying I would probably.
I am.
Thing.
Do you ever see that conversation where Shatner talks about? Campbell talks about meeting Shatner.
Mm-mm.
I don't think so.
Bruce Campbell talks about it as how to approach people, like kind of like as a celebrity, meeting celebrities, and he has a great story of meeting Shatner. And like you don't start with the obvious stuff. You go to like the Replacement Killers, and he talked about like the old like P.T. Booker, and it's like, oh, I love how you did the slide in when you like came in with the car because it was actually him doing his own stunts. And Shatner got really excited and would tell the story and like, oh yeah, this is what I did. I didn't want me to do it, but I always did it. And he gave the advice. And then Bruce, like several years later, was in a movie and he got to do that same move. And he took the advice from Shatner on how to do it. So Shatner told him how to do like that burn-in.
That's hilarious.
That's amazing.
I feel like, probably as a celebrity, like you have those roles that everyone is going to ask you about. And so you probably expect that. It's probably a lot more fun to hear of some of the either older or less known roles that you don't get to talk about as much.
Yeah, I mean, because this kind of goes to the John Boyega thing. It's like you don't want to be typecast as he is only ever Finn. Like that's all he like. And so if you have people who, like you said, go to those older, more obscure type roles, because it's rare that, and at least I think that an actor who has come up and is big now doesn't have small bit parts along the way. And sometimes finding those is really difficult. And but I mean, yeah, because like Replacement Killers was this, I mean, pseudo low budget. Mira Sorvino was pretty popular at the time, but like that was like one of the first times that the U.S. got Chow Yun-Fat and all of that stuff, like that crossover. I mean, because that's mid '90s, like that crossover into Asian cinema to U.S. cinema hadn't really happened yet. Because we're years before Crouching Tiger and all of that other stuff. And so, but it's just, I just like movies like that. So, it was in the theaters here for like a week. But I still remember seeing it for whatever reason. So let's see here. What else is going on movie-wise? Let's see. We'll talk about some DC stuff for a second. So DC Universe, this goes back to streaming as well. DC Universe has ended yearly subscriptions. This is the first of the 12 gongs of doom that the DC Universe streaming service is about to be no more. On June 30th, DC Universe, you can no longer subscribe to a year in advance. And they're going straight to the $7.99 monthly rate. Everyone's saying everything is going to end up on HBO Max.
Yeah.
I bet, yeah.
Like everything is going to end up over there. What I hope that they do is they take the DC streaming service, DC Universe or whatever, and they turn it into Marvel's comic universe, basically, where you get the full, because they have that is part of it now, is the comic piece of it and getting back issues and stuff like that. And so I think if they lean in there, I think that's a good thing. Take this series stuff off. They also offered HBO Max to current DC Universe streaming service subscribers for $4.99 versus $14.99 as well. Most everyone thinks it is a way to basically like, oh, for $5 I'll get HBO Max, and then they'll transition users over. For that. So great idea, poor execution.
From the business side, it makes sense, like want to consolidate all the streaming because they have multiple efforts, moving things to CW, moving things to HBO Max. I just don't want them to lose the comics.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, for those services are great. For me, they're great for road trips. Cause like, oh, I'm gonna read this whole series like at once and go back and read through it. And it's really not it's not practical to bring Nightfall with you when the first Nightfall is that thick. And so there's that.
when things like they have one issue over here and then one issue over there that all ties in.
Yeah,
like,
the crossovers.
I don't want to hunt all that stuff down. And if you have it in a digital compilation, or if I want to sample something, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
If it's really good, I'll still buy it. But for trying out new authors or new runs,
I wished that some of the DC, from the streaming would have gone over to the CW.
Stargirl did, right?
Stargirl
is. Yeah.
But I wish some of the, I mean, I can't even, like Teen Titans, I think like that would have been good over at CW. Not that I've seen Teen Titans, it just.
Well, Titans is too dark for CW. I mean, it's a straight up rated R.
Okay.
Like, I feel like taking Teen Titans to CW is like when they tried to take Walking Dead to whatever non-AMC version or whatever. Like they had to edit it, and it was not even remotely the same show.
Gotcha.
So it makes sense over on HBO Max or even like Netflix. Like move it over there. And so, but yeah, so Stargirl is going to CW. It's got renewed for season 2. It will air on CW. Doom Patrol is going over to HBO Max for season 2, and I think that gets released in just a few days.
I think so. I've seen ads for that lately.
Boy, that'd be nice to be able to watch.
I know. I think that's why I want the CW. Is I'm like, I'm not going to pay for HBO Max.
Yeah. Harley Quinn, the animated series, the adult animated series is heading to HBO Max next month.
That one I definitely understand.
Yep.
Not being on the CW.
Yeah.
Swamp Thing is over on CW. Do you think that they will pick it up and give it more seasons, or do you think it's just over there for its one season and nothing?
I think it's one and done, mainly because of the financial screw up that occurred because of Swamp Thing. Like the reason Swamp Thing ended had nothing to do with the series as much as there was literally a screw up in the paperwork, and they thought they were getting like a $40 million tax credit, and they were getting a $10 million tax credit instead. So they were $30 million in the hole immediately.
Oh, wow.
Like that's what happened. And so they basically shut it down.
That person was fired.
Someone was not doing their job.
Yeah.
And we don't I don't know. The story's out there. I don't know if it was a state thing or like a studio thing that screwed that up. But
these things do happen.
Yeah.
So what if you take just the character, just Swamp Thing himself, and put him on like Legends, or I guess maybe he can't. He probably needs his swamp.
Well, they're doing Constantine, right? Like if you've done the show.
That's what I was thinking. It's like he and Constantine, because in the comics, every now and then, isn't there a crossover with him? Yeah. Or the Dark Justice, something like that. So I think that, maybe just take that one character and move him.
So are you talking about doing a buddy show? Like do a...
Sure.
Constantine and Swamp Thing, buddy cop show. Heck yes.
Yeah. But I mean, just like move him with the Legends, all of the
like a Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Type show with
all of the weird characters. Just they end up, I think, putting them on Legends. They're just like, we don't know what else to do with you. This show is already weird. Throw you on here.
They've talked. There's been discussions about using Swamp Thing in the next crossover, like that. But then they said, well, the next crossover is just going to be Batwoman and Supergirl. Well, then there's a new Batwoman now. So the whole Batwoman, Supergirl, World's Finest thing, that whole relationship between Kate Kane and Kara Danvers, that would have built World's Finest, that's gone now. So I don't know how you use it.
Unless it is new Batwoman going to find Kara to go look for original Batwoman.
Maybe. I mean, that's the thing. I think not using Swamp Thing is a mistake, because him and Constantine, as much as we laugh about a buddy cop movie like Justice League Dark with Constantine and Swamp Thing and stuff like that, I mean, I think they could use it. Now, there's talk that on HBO Max there will be a Justice League Dark either movie or series that J.J. Abrams is involved with.
Oh, yeah.
And so we might see that maybe the next time we see Swamp Thing. that would make sense.
Yeah, and with Abrams, he's going to have the budget for.
Oh yeah,
so
100%. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm with Warner Brothers controlling DC. Warner Brothers / AT&T / HBO / whoever controlling the DC side, with J.J. Abrams in having a lot of that control. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity that he's not gonna screw up a character. For him to take on Justice League Dark is I mean, that's something that the hardcores know about and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I don't. What's up, Arturo? There is, I don't know.
Arturo's a fellow bailiff.
Nice.
Yeah.
There is a lot to be said for anything J.J. Abrams is going to do with DC and stuff like that. So, one thing he is not involved with is the Batman, the Robert Pattinson, R-Bats, Sparkle Bats, whatever you want to call him, and they are getting back to filming. They're talking about there's going to be a lot of basically studio filming now as opposed to location filming, which is both. I mean, you can build sets, like you can do it. It's going to blow your budget. I mean, but location filming is part of it. And they're also talking about they have a Warner Brothers is basically putting in a system regarding they call it the coronavirus malpractice reporting system, so they can get back to filming with safety protocols and things like that in place. I'm sure it's similar to what like the NFL and the NBA and stuff like that are doing right now, and so something along probably a bat bubble. That's right, and because they're talking about, I mean, some of these places have 100-page protocol manuals for this. Like it is, they're taking it seriously because, you've got some college teams that the entire team is in quarantine now.
Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, you've got all of that.
47 people, I think.
Yeah, and you look at because normally, like this time of year or whatever, I'm traveling much more for hockey and things like that. I'm not playing, obviously. I would get broken in two. But the rules around what's happening with youth hockey and stuff like that right now, same thing. It's it's very limited. One spectator per player. Mask required. Stuff like that. You can only go into the place so many minutes. You can only go into the locker room so many minutes before. There's only so many people in the locker room at a time. You show up to the place dressed. Stuff like that to help limit some of that stuff. So it is.
Were they previously showing up not dressed?
They would show up in street. They'd show up in street clothes.
Okay.
And so
because of Corona, so crazy world.
It's true. And so I think we're going to get a lot of different ways to handle this. Yeah.
I heard though with like the NBA and the bubble, like there are players that are already breaking the rules and are having to like be quarantined just because they wanted like takeout or something.
It's true. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's one thing, like we are self-quarantining, for the best way to put it. Like we're self-quarantining and stuff like that, but we still have some freedom. They don't. Like it is for them. I can see how that would get very a little rough, but granted they're making millions of dollars.
But I've seen the resort that they are on.
Oh yeah.
This one guy was fishing.
Oh yeah.
Like they have stuff to do. No, like on a lake. Or a pond or something. He was in a boat.
They're at one of the Disney resorts.
Yeah.
In Orlando.
Disney ponds have some massive bass in them.
Yeah.
My favorite picture is there's a guy walking in. He's got like, you figure he'd carry clothes or something, like a backpack or whatever. No, he's just carrying his Xbox. Like it's the only thing that he's carrying is an Xbox, like an Xbox in a backpack.
That makes sense.
One of them showed up Because you know how NBA players show up to games wearing, their nicest threads. They want to look awesome coming into the locker room. Well, they're treating the arrival to the bubble as the same way. Some of them are, so they're just dressing up, but not entirely, to impress with niceness. They're doing it kind of Halloween-like. Some of them are dressing in full hazmat suits, showing up. So they're having fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think that having sports back on television for the most part is good for the country. Baseball just started back up. Things like that. I think it's a good thing. It's a good release. So we appreciate. It's one of those things. You appreciate the sacrifice they're making, being away from their families for so long and stuff like that. But like Hannah said, they're also at like this. If there is such thing as a 6-star resort, they're at a 6-star resort right now. With private chefs and whatnot. So,
but if you can feel bad for millionaires, this will do it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're insanely rich. They never have to worry about things that most people will. But I don't have to be away from my wife for the next several months.
Yep.
Not get to see her, and that I feel bad for anyone who has to go through that.
Why couldn't the wife just go with you to the bubble?
I don't think they'll let you.
And hang out.
I don't think they'll let any family.
They can't just quarantine with them?
Mm-mm.
Apparently not.
Some people might be a pro, though, church.
Do what?
A pro? Maybe not a con? Free vacation. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I got to go in quarantine for 3 months.
I guess it depends on the quality of your marriage.
I will say, I think someone did
that might be a pro for. I'm going to try and stop shaking my camera. Sorry.
Someone did get called out. They didn't name names, but someone, like some model, tweeted, and she was like, "If you're wondering how well the bubble is going, an unnamed player just invited me." She said no, but she was just like, so.
Yeah, so maybe they're going to sneak people in.
And they've still had a lot of people that have had to leave as well.
Yeah.
When they get back, they go right back into quarantine. Doesn't matter where the season is right then. It's like Zion had to leave for family reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And
he just came back.
I think he just came back yesterday or today.
So he'll be in quarantine.
He might be in quarantine for 4 more days, potentially, if not longer.
And that one guy, I don't remember his name, but like all he did was he ordered like Grubhub or something, and he had just like stepped over the line to pick up the food, and he has to quarantine.
They have been complaining about the food.
Yeah, I've seen pictures. It looks almost like it's just cafeteria food.
Except Steven Adams kind of called him out on it. Steven Adams of the Thunder, he called him out and said, "Okay, the food's not great, but we're not living in Syria.
Right.
We can do this."
Yeah. I will tell you, I highly doubt that food is being cooked in the new Marvel and Box Lunch collection, where you have Marvel-themed everything for your kitchen.
I think it actually is.
That's what I need.
I think it is Disney. I mean, it could be.
I heard it's being cooked in a Marvel, kitchen.
In a Marvel crock pot. Like, there's just different crock pots out there.
And that the staff is dressed up as Marvel characters. So it's like superheroes helping out.
The chef is Hulk.
Yeah.
Everything better go right.
Mm-hmm.
So Box Lunch and Marvel is teamed together to do stuff for your kitchen. There's 43 new items, everything from coasters, crock pots, what look like waffle makers with Iron Man's face on them. There's 43 different items. There's also the crock pots. Let's see, they come in a 2 and a 7 quart size. And feature things like a Captain America shield, Rocket Raccoon, and Black Panther's mask. Like, if you give me a straight up Rocket Raccoon, crock pot, Crockett Raccoon, it just goes to show you there's a licensing deal for pretty much everything.
They have a cookbook too, so you could cook your way through the Marvel universe.
The Marvel cookbook, yep.
This is what happens when nerds grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Nerd crockpots.
There's a Etsy shop that does magnetic wraparounds for Instant Pots and crock pots.
Oh, that is.
I have an R2D2 one, and they have BB-8, And it's just if you already have an existing one, they have different patterns and they're washable. They come off, they just wrap around, they clasp with magnets.
You have an R2D2 crockpot?
You go get it?
In the house that you're in right now.
Go get it.
Off.
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to happen.
So I have a Batman crockpot.
You do. You have a million.
In the house that you're in right now?
I'm not leaving. Yes, I do.
I have an Avengers waffle maker.
Nice.
It makes the 4, and it has like their various symbols. It's not Hawkeye though.
There it is. There's the R2D2 Instant Bot.
Yeah,
that is cool.
This is the quality content that our viewers.
Yes, the control panel just like blends so well with it.
it's just
Yeah.
It would be better for Vader.
Oh, the droid stuff, it works really well. Oh, Vader one? I'll just see if they have one.
There you go. That is amazing.
Yeah.
So cool. Very nice. Very nice, sir.
For everything you put in them, they do not. Yes, and there, I do also see a Ninja Turtle.
Yes.
I've shot that Ninja Turtle.
That's why it's there.
See?
Oh man! In other Marvel news, the Hawkeye Show continues to move forward. We've got multiple directors that have been confirmed.
Still no Kate Bishop confirmation. But
I mean, it's not confirmed, but it's got to be. It's got to be. It's got to be her.
I will say I've started watching her show on Apple TV, Dickinson, and she's very good with like the sarcastic humor, and it makes me feel better if she is Kate Bishop. Like she'd have the personality down.
So, yeah, I mean, it's the. Let's see here. I want to make sure I get these directors right. Multiple directors to tackle the series. I didn't realize the guy who ran Mad Men is the showrunner, which is very interesting.
Ryan.
Jonathan Igla from Mad Men is going to be the showrunner. And so
I was thinking Ryan Murphy, and I was like, what?
Amber Finlayson and Katie Elwood, a directing duo who go by Bert and Bertie, will direct a block of episodes, as will Rhys Thomas. Finlayson and Elwood most recently directed Amazon comedy Troop Zero, while Thomas comes from Saturday Night Live and just helmed the John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Bunch for Netflix. So very comedy-oriented directors, which I think probably leans to the sarcastic, you know.
I think that fits well with
Hawkeye that we want.
Yeah, like the comic Hawkeye, Matt Faction, and all of those, because it was very funny.
Yep. So
that was what brought me back to comics, really.
That's a very different tone from their other content too, to differentiate, to lean a little bit heavier into the humor.
Yeah.
Yeah. It will be. We don't know how many episodes. We don't know. Like, we really just don't have a whole lot of information yet. But you know, it's because they're talking about 2022, something like that. So
that sounds like a made-up year.
Yeah.
I feel like we've already lived like a decade with just these 6 months.
How Keanu feels.
How many years can we fit into just one?
Yeah,
a lot. So talking about they're talking about Thor: Love and Thunder, and it is being called. The director is calling it. I think it's going to be really good. We've been writing script off and on for over a year, and I'm actually this week doing another pass on it. It's so insane and so romantic. I'm into romances now. I just want to make a romance. I want to make something that I've never done or never cared for. I would attack it something like that.
This sounds like something that like any of us, I think at least me and probably Cav can relate to, in that once we get obsessed with something, we would just want to do that one thing. So it's like right now he has like watched a romance or something that has made him obsessed with romances. So now he's just going to make this a romance. That's all he can think about right now.
I thought you were talking about Cav there for a second.
No, I just meant.
Cav, what romance have you watched?
I have not watched any romance.
We both get obsessed over stuff.
Yeah, a singular focus, I believe, is the right way to put it. So, Thor: Love and Thunder has been moved from February 18th, 2022 to February 11th, 2022. The other way. And the director had a hilarious response to this very small change. He says, "What the hell? I'm on holiday." So, yeah, it's. I guess he did an Instagram live. He spent a portion, and I haven't seen it. Apparently, he discussed Korg's backstory, which I would like to know Korg's backstory. Whether or not Loki's going to appear in the new film, X-Men villains, and a lot of Thor tidbits. So you might go and find that.
Well, I thought Korg's backstory was that he didn't like what was going on his home planet, so he wanted to start a revolution, but he didn't hand out enough pamphlets, so no one showed up.
Yep.
I think you're correct.
Rock was defeated by paper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I wonder what more you could elaborate on.
At some point, Korg has to get his own Disney Plus show.
Right? I would have liked to have seen the pamphlets. And like what happened? Like, was it just something to where like someone got stopped while he was trying to run to make the pamphlets? And so he just didn't get there in time? Did he accidentally run into somebody so the pamphlets just fell down and he couldn't pick them all up in time to go hand them out to people?
I like to think they weren't like printed or like technology. Like he was just like hand writing like all these notes, pamphlets, and he made like 7.
What if there was a printer jam?
PC load letter.
Yeah,
in the street and the wind blows most of them away.
Or like a tone. There's no toner.
Something we will see before Thor: Love and Thunder is Loki. Yeah, what? Loki is going to be. He had the wrong date on it. Yeah. We will see. Loki is reportedly on track for a 2021 Disney Plus release date, and so. Most recent reports are showing, even with the delay, things like that the series will still debut in 2021. And that they're saying that Falcon and Winter Soldier could still conceivably make 2020, but we don't quite know when.
Thanks, COVID.
Pretty much, yep. I don't really know. All right, so let's talk about games, because games are fun. There was the Xbox showcase that they did. Everybody was hoping for a release date and a price on the new Xbox. They did not get it. Microsoft was very upfront about it in the very beginning, saying, like even in the pre-show, they said, you are not going to get. This is about games. This is not about the console. And let's face it, they're in a game of chicken with Sony right now. And they're just going to wait and wait and wait.
I mean, they have the time now.
So, so there's been a lot of different things, a lot of games that came out. And so go watch the showcase to see what you're most excited about. Halo Infinite gameplay was received both positively and negatively because there is you can sprint, you can mantle, there's flying grunts. There's the grapple gun, all these things. But there are people also like, well, for Halo Infinite with this new Slipstream engine and all this other stuff, they expected it to look much better than it did. So two interesting.
Good.
I did. Yeah. So there was a couple pieces of information came out, which is a lot of people think that the visuals are sort of an homage to the original Halo, which I get. That it was not the latest build; it was probably a months old build of the game. And they make progress, very regularly on that. It was also not running on an Xbox Series X. It was running on a PC with similar specs to the Xbox Series X. So there is no telling what compatibility things they had to kind of work with or whatever, especially in a build that's a few months old. Basically, one of the studio people said, look, we are months away from, quote, holiday. It'll be fine. Basically saying he's pulling an Aaron Rodgers, be like, relax. We got this. It's fine.
Someone went through and they compare like screenshots from this release with earlier images, and it's like it doesn't look as good now as it did 6 months or a year ago. But to your point, they're wanting to be compatible. They're running it on current gen hardware and PCs. So there's a lot we don't know, and people are going to be running a wide gambit of systems, and it'll be fine.
That's what they're worried about. I wanted to know what was going on with that crazy steroided brute guy at the end.
I sent Sam like an hour-long backstory on that guy because I was also very curious.
I was like, is he a general? Like, what has happened?
He's a brute, and he's a general, and apparently most of his stories are from Halo Wars 2. I think introduces a lot of them.
Who played those besides Sam?
I played the first one. I didn't play the second. But there's a lot of comic and there's a lot of Halo War 2's lore for that general.
I mean, that is good. But yeah, I didn't know that the brutes were so articulate. Which sounds...
Most of the brutes are intelligent.
No, I didn't say intelligent. I just didn't know that they talked a lot.
His name is Smarterus.
So the
joke is really only for Earth-2, Nick, and Sam. Sorry.
There is a couple of things. Like, apparently they can throw grunts now, which I am fully in favor of.
Oh, like, I thought it was a jetpack.
I think everyone said he was thrown. Like, this has not been confirmed. A lot of people said, well, if this isn't a ripoff from Destiny, because you look at the brute guy and you look at Callus, and it's basically this. I mean, not the same, but you have this, roided up villain. I'm going to destroy you, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's this whole thing. And also now Halo has this big open world look to it now, because that map that they showed looks huge. And so that's going to be pretty amazing as well. I'm excited about it. One thing I'm very excited about is that the first thing that Xbox said when they did their showcase, every game, including Halo, that they showed is included on Xbox Game Pass. Every one.
Yay.
And so that is huge for people. Now, not everything will come to PC originally. There will not be crossplay on a lot of stuff and things like that. And they have not confirmed whether Halo Infinite is coming to Game Pass for PC also. That we don't know. They also announced that Destiny 2 and their major releases are coming to Game Pass. So not the seasonal ones, not the every 3-month ones, but the major releases. So the game and basically the large DLCs that they drop every, year, whatever it is. So Destiny 2, Forsaken, Shadowkeep, and Beyond Light are all going to be on Game Pass for Xbox, not for PC. But they're like, the fact that is very clear. If they're putting basically their best title, I say best title, they're putting their premier Halo title, their main exclusive, into a subscription service, like, that tells me Microsoft fully intends that subscription is the only way to go from here on out. And in a world, thank you, where like 2K Games is saying, yeah, the next NBA 2K is going to be $70, not $60. That's just going to push even more people towards a subscription model. Because eventually you are going to get people are going to be tired of paying $70, $80 for games. And
here's my thing with the subscription model. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong. But Lynn and I can't play the same game together like, we can do like Borderlands, like we can do some of them, but he can't go over to his Xbox and play Game Pass with a game and me play it like that way at the same time. We would both have to have separate Game Passes.
Yeah. I thought there was a family option that could.
There's a family option, but if I'm signed in as me, because the Game Pass is under him, I can't play certain games. Unless I'm just not doing it right. That could.
But you're on separate consoles?
Yeah. Because it would log him out, wouldn't it?
I thought that they had addressed that basically you had, and it may be if you have like, I thought that they had dealt with where basically you could use Game Pass as a family. And it may be if your Xbox Live account is completely separate and not part of a family, like where there's multiple gamer tags under a family thing, that may be it. But I thought that they addressed that because as a family, there is no way that they're going to pay, $15 a kid to have Game Pass.
Like,
we're going to solve this problem for you.
Okay. Well, maybe the game that we were trying to play, I was wanting to play with him, wasn't on Game Pass.
Well, my question is and I'm missing a key piece of information here, I'm sure, but
I might have some information too.
If you're on different consoles, signed into different accounts, how would a physical copy change that, though?
Well, if it was a physical copy, couldn't he play, like, we could do multiplayer? Because I could be Game Pass, and he could have the physical one, and we could just do, like with Destiny or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're just doing a regular online multiplayer. Oh, no. Lynn says no.
No, nope to which thing? Because we talked about a lot of different things.
Lynn, explain it to me.
Explain yourself.
Well, it's just a problem with games not focusing on split screen anymore. It's like that was Halo 3, like 4-person per box going through the campaign, and for graphical defense.
That is my annoyance with a lot. Like, not just Game Pass. Like, I can't play Destiny with him unless we both.
We're moving away from that. I want to sell more consoles, more copies of the game, and they're not supporting split screen campaigns, multiplayer.
New Halo will have split screen.
How many?
I think it's 4. I read a tweet somewhere that there's going to be.
That brings back memories.
So, in a world of Zoom meetings and Teams, I want 20.
In a world.
In a world, I did it. Yeah.
Bobby
Newport.
Bobby
Newport has never had a job in his life. Does anyone else get what we're doing?
It's a bit.
It's a bit. Parks and Rec.
A lot of games were shown at the event. Avowed, which is very Elder Scrolls. Yeah, I'm just rolling right past this. Destiny 2, which is getting a 4K optimized version for the new console, 4K 60 frames a second for Destiny 2, which I'm very excited about. Everwild, a new Fable got announced. Like, you saw about 30 seconds of it, which is pretty awesome. New Forza, which looks pretty amazing. Grounded looks awesome on every level. The only thing I want to do is play multiplayer with you guys and feed one of you to a spider. Like, that's it. Like, once I do that, I'm out. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but a survival game. Like that. Oh, yeah. Go watch the trailer for Grounded. It looks pretty amazing. You got Halo, you got Ori, Psychonauts 2, which is an acid trip on a console.
It was an acid trip for the first one.
So, Tetris Effect Connected. So if we want to play Tetris somehow connected, I guess.
I do that.
Like,
is that different than Tetris 99?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. Like, it's very, but there's a lot of really good, good stuff's coming. Like, the problem, like, if anybody has, like, everyone knows that I play Destiny, and that's pretty much all that I play, but in Command and Conquer occasionally too. But having other better new games to play, like, I'm excited about what that's going to be.
You missed Halo 3 with us. It was great.
Well, you guys got done in 37 minutes. I did. Like, by the time I saw that message, like, I had been cleaning house all day. I was like, crap. And then the next day, like, yeah, and we're done. I'm like, well, okay then. So,
is there a Halo 4?
There is, and a Halo 5.
Okay, then you can play Halo 4 with them.
Those are the ones you don't really we don't really.
I know, because those are not
that they exist.
They switched over, but I'm just saying, if they're playing through the whole series.
I think Reach next. I think that's
the Reach will be fun. I like Reach.
They don't have support for ODST yet, but they will soon, probably.
Yeah. So one of the big things that Microsoft has been talking about, and they said, hey, here's the deal. The first few games or whatever that are coming out, first-party exclusives that are coming out for the Xbox Series X will be cross-gen for the first couple of years. Not entirely accurate, apparently. Two sides of the house are not talking to each other. There's been some games, basically the head of Xbox Game Studios in January said all games sort of like PC will play up and down that family of devices. We are making the commitment to use smart delivery on all of our Xbox exclusive Game Studio titles. And what smart delivery is, if you own it for Xbox One, you get the Series X enhanced version. You don't have to pay for it.
That in January? I thought he said that like last week.
He might have repeated it last week.
Last week.
Yeah. Very recent. Spencer was like, across the board, play it however you want. And then immediately they released their announcements, and it wasn't true.
Yeah, during the Xbox Game Showcase, Forza, Fable, Avowed, As Dusk Falls, Everwild, State of Decay 3, which looks frightening, by the way, with the demon zombie deer. I believe that was the State of Decay trailer. Like, that was frightening.
Oh, I thought you were still talking about Forza.
Yes, there are demon deer in Forza.
You can race.
Gotta catch them all. Right. No Xbox One support, no smart delivery. And they're all games published by Microsoft Studios. And so Microsoft has been fairly fishy about this. Aaron Greenberg tweeted, future first-party titles are developed for Xbox Series X first. Not saying those games won't ship on Xbox One, only that we are leading with the Series X, and each studio will decide what's best for their game and community when they launch. So there's been
their classic Microsoft plan where they release it on their lead console and then they release it on PC 13 years later.
Something. So this is what is coming out on Series X and PC. State of Decay 3, Forza, Fable, Avowed, As Dusk Falls, Everwild, Stalker 2, Warhammer 40,000, Darkside, The Medium. The Medium also looks very frightening. The ones that will have Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and Windows PC, Halo Infinite, Tell Me Why, Grounded, Psychonauts, Destiny 2, Tetris Effect, The Gunk, and New Genesis Phantasy Star Online 2. And then Crossfire X will be a console launch exclusive for the Series X and the Xbox One. No PC support out of the gate for that one. So, apparently, somebody's watching over on Twitch. Do you want to become famous? By followers, primes, and views on bigfollows.com.
Oh, man.
Let's be famous.
Famous.
So, a lot of great games. I'll be curious to see what Microsoft ends up doing, as people talk about that, because Phil Spencer is clearly saying one thing and other people are saying other things. What's interesting is one of the first Game Pass titles was Sea of Thieves. I think they launched Game Pass with Sea of Thieves.
That was huge for that big of a game. Yeah.
Yeah. And this was in Sea of Thieves has passed 15 million players. That's a lot of pirates.
Mm-hmm.
June saw 3.3 million active players. So that is absolutely bananas.
4 of those players were us.
ANANAS.
So the game launched.
That happened when I came back to the game.
It's true.
See, I'm famous. I brought my phone.
The game launched on Steam at the beginning of June, has sold over 1 million copies through the platform since.
So it's interesting to see how the two ecosystems kind of help each other, because I got my cousins into the game through Game Pass, because they're like, I can play it for like a nickel, and then they loved it, and then they bought it on Steam.
Yeah.
It's
cross-platform. It's cross-platform, isn't it?
Yeah. I play on PC, Church, and Sam, and Xbox, or PC too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So every game should be like that. I don't know why they don't do more cross-platform. It's beautiful.
They're saying 20. So one of the reasons that they're saying that the releases, the big DLC releases, are not coming to Game Pass for PC for Destiny 2 until late 2021 is when they are expected to announce cross-platform for Destiny.
About time.
And so that will be a big announcement. Like, not only can you get everything on Game Pass for PC now, but now you can play with your Xbox friends, and maybe it's only cross-platform PC and Xbox, and maybe Sony gets left out in the cold. I don't know. That's going to be.
Sony is not wanting to play well with others.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a decision on Sony's end. So
now that Activision is not part of that space anymore, like the Sony exclusive stuff like that will never happen again. So, but on Sea of Thieves, something else I didn't realize that they're going to roll out private servers for content creators.
Yeah, it's not what it sounds though. It's just so they can like do events and record stuff and interact with their followers. They won't have any world events or like the skeleton. So you can't actually grind and get rewards. So it's not like a private level web server.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, basically, like you said, it's an interaction thing, a community type thing,
emotional tool.
Yeah, which should be, hopefully that's the first step to getting private servers that can have interaction with the actual game world.
But they've been pretty adamant they will not do PvE servers.
Yeah. So speaking of Sea of Thieves, 4 days. 4 days, you get yet another free update. Sea of Thieves: Ashen Winds is coming out July 29th. So it only got delayed a week, unlike everything else. It's been delayed months on end, including Destiny Beyond Light, which has been pushed to November, with every other game release on the planet. That's why November is gaming month, and everybody should take the entire month off. So let's see, something else from me, going back from the old school days. A very interesting teaser showed up online as part of ComicCon at Home by IGN. G4 is making a return.
The channel?
In some way, shape, or form, G4 is returning. So there's a teaser posted by IGN during ComicCon at Home. Their official Twitter accounts for Attack of the Show and X-Play also posted the teaser with the tagline, "We never stopped playing." So maybe they're going to
watching.
Apparently, but there's going to be, so it'll be interesting to see, like, now in this world of online platforms where we can do stuff like this very easily. It does not surprise me in the slightest that they're going to have some sort of, maybe it's going to be a Twitch channel, maybe it's going to be, or a Facebook channel or whatever. It could be any number of things where things could be, where you can get back to that. So says 2021. We'll see. Like,
we are placing a lot of hope on 2021.
We really are.
Like,
somebody posted a meme online like 2020 is like Halloween's on a Saturday, Christmas is on a Friday, Cinco de Mayo fell on Taco Tuesday or whatever. It's like, you were the chosen one. And it is. And then, as they say on television, then something went horribly wrong. So so that is so there's a lot. I would recommend going and either watching the Xbox showcase or go watch the trailers. If you go to gathernerds.com, look at the agenda for this episode. A lot of the trailers are linked at the bottom of that sources page. So lots of games, lots of fun things.
I have a question. It has nothing to do with anything we talked about.
Sure.
Earth 2 Nick, can you show us some of your really cool Nerf guns?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I can.
He makes like these custom Nerf gun things, and I've not that one, but like he like he paints them and stuff, and he had like these magnet belt clip things.
Oh wow!
Yeah, sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I painted this one. I usually take them apart, like she's saying, and replace the springs, air restrictors if I can. The pistol she's talking about, I actually keep next to my bed. So I don't have it down here in the armory.
Makes them into actual home defense.
Yeah, yes, indeed. I replaced the triggers with like metal triggers. It has like a metal hammer. Next time I'm on, I'll bring it downstairs. But I gave a lot of them away. I've been doing them as like presents, but this is one I hung on to for myself. I did a really cool shotgun I gave away. And there's a huge mod community with like the shotgun. It was a triple shot, but it was very weak. So I replaced it with a double barrel and the spring, so it actually became really powerful. And I did like a longer barrel, but you can buy like people 3D print mods to change the form of these things entirely, or the motors. A lot of them will do upgrades. If you haven't gotten into the Rival series, they shoot with little balls into the adult series, and they're awesome. Like, this is stock, but it shoots so fast.
Those are never allowed in my house, ever.
Oh. You like open a museum? All that glass?
All the glass and the kids who would take that, and it would just, my house would become a war zone.
I have tried to explain those to people before. I'm like, my friend, he does these really cool things with the Nerf guns, but I feel like you need to see it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll bring down the pistols soon. I have 2 more that I want to paint.
But see, Earth 1 Nick likes shooting things, and Earth 2 Nick likes shooting things in a slightly different way.
For the next 2, I'll paint soon, probably.
Yeah.
But,
like, to me, that looks like a Borderlands weapon.
Right.
This is their Borderlands series. They based on
that would be why.
They have an entire set that they have based on Borderlands. They did an entire like zombie theme. Nerf's gone a long way, but this was they call it Doomlands. That's the branding is Doomlands. So,
nice.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
As a hammer, kind of similar to the pistol.
I want to know what that Ninja Turtle did to you. Like, did it hurt you?
I'll tell you the day I bought it, I found it at Target, 50% off. And because I'm an adult and I have money, I put it in my shopping cart and I pushed it through the store and I bought it instantly. And I was the coolest kid in Target. You saw all the other little kids. I put his arms up, so he was like cheering. I pushed him around Target, and all the kids were like, "Oh no, I want that!" And they hated me. All the parents were like, "Oh, why did you buy that today? The day I'm here shopping and trying to buy milk." They were so bad.
Nice. All right, gang. Well, I think that's going to wrap up this week. ComicCon, Nerf weapons, and all kinds of fun stuff. So, and lots of games. So we've got, I believe we're back next week with normal stuff. We'll see what else is going on and what else has been delayed between this week and next week. But other than that, anybody got anything else?
I have one more aside. Hannah, cats love chasing Nerf darts. It's like he's chill right now, but I'll shoot Nerf darts around and then he'll chase it. So it's kind of like a cat toy dispenser. I don't know, Cav, if you have cats, but if you want a loophole to get Nerf guns in your house, cat toy dispensers.
Dude, there are a few. I don't have cats. Milo is right there, down. There he is. He's asleep.
Oh, it's a dog.
Yeah, it's Milo. He's asleep.
He's an awesome
Milo.
dog.
There he is. Hey, buddy.
It's a carpet or something.
No, that's Milo. He sleeps in my office most of the time when I'm up here. So there are a couple Nerf guns around here. No cats, though. So we'll be back next week. We'll have other stuff, games, and whatnot as we see. When is the release date for Grounded? I feel like it's now or something. Hold on. This is because I feel like a stream is Grounded releases in 3 days.
July 28th.
That's my brother's birthday.
July 28th. So I don't know if it is cross-platform or not. Either way, I feel like a stream of Grounded is something that needs to happen. Mm-hmm. So it looks like a lot of fun. So, all right, gang, this will do it for episode. Which one are we on? 158.
158.
158.
We're on 157 in Earth 2. It was a bad one.
You're not synced up anymore.
No, you lost one somewhere. It's just there's one that only exists here and not there.
We call the lost episode over here.
Like that Simpsons episode.
Yeah. All right, gang. I'm Cab. That is Earth. That's Earth 2 Nick.
You stay classy, Internet.
Church.
Be kind, be safe, guys.
And Hannah.
Bye. I'm not evil.
See you guys. Bye-bye.